Welcome to today's video where I teach you why I use the V key on my keyboard for sliding in Destiny 2. What kind of an idiot uses V for crouch? I want to keep this short and sweet, but I do want to mention that this video I tried something I haven't done before where I talk over some random footage of me playing scrims. I don't know if you're going to like it or not, but it was something different I wanted to try, so please let me know in the comments if you prefer I talk about the analytics right on the screen where all the numbers are, or if you'd rather have some PvP footage in the background while I talk about each piece. So today's video is going to be a bit of both. I'm just trying to gauge what you guys like in this video versus what I've done in the past. But without further ado, let's get right into it. I've broken it down to essentially 3 core reasons why I use the V key as my crouch and slide. This video is going to go through all 3 of those pieces, but just a high-level summary is that number 1, my finger dexterity with my pinky between shift and control. Number 2 is about some of the issues with aiming. And number 3 is this ADS slide thing that I discovered that a lot of people in the competitive community use. Starting with number 1, finger dexterity. Usually people have shift bound to sprint and control bound to crouch. That's perfectly fine. I started out with that and I thought I liked it. After a while though, my pinky would get sore after long streams and I just felt like I wasn't quick enough when it came to sprinting and sliding, then aiming, and I just wasn't happy. So I decided I needed to move it away from my pinky. I didn't want to move it to my ring finger, middle finger, or pointer finger because those are on WASD. I didn't want it to affect my strafing or anything like that, which basically left me my thumb at the time was really just used for jump, and I thought that's all I can do with it. And then my right hand, which is on my mouse. So naturally, I thought, that's pretty easy. Let's move it to the mouse.
Control.
Mouse button.
Control.
Mouse button. Here's a picture of which button I chose on the mouse. I was happy. My sprint sliding was a lot more efficient. Everything was pretty much good to go. So I used this for a long time. Here's some examples just to demonstrate of the improvement in efficiency from a sprint slide perspective when I moved it from shift control to shift mouse. After a while, I started to recognize that my aim wasn't really great in those moments. For example, whenever I'd be sprinting and I'd want to slide around a corner and then ADS to try and hit an opponent, I found myself often missing in that small window, like I just couldn't seem to control it. So I figured, okay, I guess my aim just sucks. Or is there something I can do about it? Now, it's important to realize that there's many types of grips on a mouse. And at first, I used to have a palm grip. I'm not going to pretend like this is textbook palm grip or anything like that, but this is how I was holding my mouse initially. I literally had my palm on the back of the mouse firmly enough that I could essentially move my mouse without even having my fingers or my thumb on the mouse. And I thought this was a beautiful thing because that way anything I was doing with my fingers was not affecting my aim, because I thought, yeah, I can move my mouse around without ever having to worry about having to hit buttons or anything like that. In reality, I think I was wrong and it was still affecting my aim a little bit. But I basically just lived with it and thought, yeah, again, it is what it is. A long time had passed and I eventually switched to more of like a fingertip / claw grip type of method for holding the mouse. What? Here's an example of what I mean. With this new way of holding the mouse, I was finding massive improvement on a lot of my scores in Kovacs. I was finding massive improvement on a lot of my 3 taps in Destiny, which I recognize is pretty easy in Destiny given the size of the hitboxes, but that's a discussion for another day. Either way, I felt like my aim was way better with this new grip and I was really happy with it. The problem was that now that I had this new grip, my thumb was firmly pressed against the side of the mouse below the mouse button. And I couldn't seem to hit the damn side buttons without really effing up my aim. That's when I thought, okay, if I'm maining Destiny, should I go back to a palm grip just so I can do this sprint slide? Because it is pretty important in Destiny, but that just seemed nuts to me. If my aim is better with this new grip, I gotta find a way. Something I've always found to be really important in anything that you do is the fact that full concentration is required to have optimal results. And what I mean by that is that anytime my brain has to think about something else, I'm probably going to do that first action a little bit worse. So I had to go back to that and think, if I want my aim to be as good as possible, I don't want my brain thinking about hitting the side button and worried about messing up my aim or correcting my aim while I'm doing it. I wanted to separate these two. That is when I started thinking about back when I played Fortnite. A lot of people used to use the V key for their edits. I thought to myself, it's literally right there above the spacebar. There's no reason why I can't hit V with my thumb, and I almost never need to slide immediately after or before a jump in Destiny anyways, so why couldn't this work? I'll still have the efficiency of being able to hit Shift and V versus Shift and a mouse button just as fast, and then this way I can start my slide and already be fully focused on my aim. Here's just a few random examples. They're nothing special. It's just to show you that eventually once I got used to using V as my slide button, I was not only efficient with sprinting and then sliding, I could finally fully focus on my aim with my right hand on the mouse and nothing else. This is what brings me to the ADS slide. As I was becoming better and better at sprinting and then sliding and aiming, I got faster at it, and I noticed that there was this weird way that you could basically just slide while standing. You know, I had always just slid and then I would hit ADS, and so my character would go through like this crouching slide, and then I would stand up as I aimed kind of thing, and that just basically went away as I started to get faster and faster. What I was noticing is that when I'd go to slide and aim around a corner, I would be ADSing so quickly after hitting sprint slide that I was basically just fully standing and sliding across the full slide distance. This helped my aim even more because now I'm not having to go from a crouching or a sliding position where my cursor would be into a standing position and adjust for that aim difference. Now whenever I slide, my reticle is exactly where I need and know it's going to be. This has helped me hit countless headshots with my hand cannon or a sniper or whatever it is as soon as I slide around a corner. Here's some examples of what I mean. Now there's a part 2 to this. The fun fact is that if you're ADS sliding, so you're sliding while standing, your opponent doesn't see you that way. Your character skin, from your opponent's perspective, is still fully sliding and crouched. So if you've ever had those moments where you thought, how the fuck did that guy just shoot me? I didn't even see him. It's probably because they were ADS sliding, so they could see you, but you couldn't see them. A perfect example of where this happens a lot is actually right on burnout between the inside and the outside. Watch this first clip. I'm gonna freeze frame this and show you what I can see when I'm crouched versus what I can see while I'm ADS sliding. And you'll notice that I can see a heck of a lot more when I'm standing up. Now I want you to really pay attention to this picture and remember how much you could see when you did the ADS slide around this corner to look outside. Take the perspective of the opponent that's outside who doesn't see me over there because I've slid across, except gets shot by me because I could see them. And this works for the other side as well. Take a look. And last but not least, I just wanted to show you how crazy that is. This example using a recluse just spraying where the head of my opponent should be, who's going to ADS slide here in a second, and how it will do no damage. Yet on their perspective, they'll run right through the bullets and be able to shoot me. All right, everyone, I hope that was helpful for some of you. I recognize that today's content was more around PC players specifically because I was forced to move from a controller to a mouse and keyboard with my wrist injury in the past. But again, if you enjoyed the content at all, liking the video really does help me grow, and it also just lets me know if I'm doing something good or if I should switch it up. So again, comments are always a great place for feedback as well. And I guess that's it, folks, so I'll catch you in my next one.
Peace!